Hi, I'm Sam, an aviation photographer, and this is my friend Jeremy. He's a master, and let us introduce the plane spotting for you.
The thing about aviation photography is that we are taking pictures of planes, obviously, but it can be more general. Not only planes, but anything that flies, like hot balloons, helicopters, anything like that. But here in Sydney, the thing about Sydney is that Sydney Airport is located quite close to the city centre, and it's got a famous beach, which is quite picturesque for plane spottings. Usually, airports are all far away from the cities, and it took me quite some time traveling back and forth, and there isn't much to choose from. And within Sydney, we can do photographies from the beach with the sea at the background, or to the top of the parking garage with the city centers, the CBD areas as a background drop, which is quite nice. But I've been doing plane spotting throughout the world in Europe, in Japan, and Australia here. They're all different characteristics of all different airports, and we have different things to shoot about. The other thing we are interested in as plane spotters is what kind of planes we can get. It does not limit only to types, it can also be airline companies. Some airline companies cannot be seen in Australia, and some airline companies can't be seen outside of Australia. That's the thing we are pursuing of. We are pursuing of like what we like and what is rare, what is relatively rare. That's why we are doing plane spotting, and we love it. When we do plane spotting, first we have to do research about what the areas around the airport is like, where we have access to and we don't. So in Sydney Airport, the place we chose this time is the top floor of the parking lobby. It's on the 12th floor, quite high up, and there it's quite famous, but it's only used for the runway 16 right is doing landings because runway usage are up to the wind directions. Sometimes we use the opposite runway, and when it's using the opposite runway from that parking garage, we can only see the takeoff scene, we can't see the landing. So when it's landing on 16 right, we can capture both landings and departures on that runway. So after we've chosen that spot, we have to choose our lens. Normally, you need a telephoto lens, but there are some exceptions. And the lens I use for this time is the Canon's 100 to 400. And after you got all that prepared, it's time to head to the airport. And there's one more thing about this to check the time, because the sun moves around every day, so you have to check whether you are against the sunlight or in the direction of sunlight. So once you get there and you've got everything sorted out, it's time for you to do actual plane spotting. There's not much requirement of a tripod. Of course, it's better if you are doing film, but I'm only taking photographies, so I'm fine with a tripod. When you actually do taking pictures of a plane, it's time to think about like what kind of backdrop you want and what kind of shutter speed you need. Normally, according to my experience, I use like 400 of a second, which is adequate. Too faster, it would be like a heavy burden of the camera, and too slower, you might get some blurry things. The difference between us, the plane spotters or aviation photographers, and the normal passengers is that normal passengers they go to the airport when they have a flight to catch or they have someone to pick up, and that's about it. They don't normally go to the airport. But we are keeping track of all the flights coming in and out of an airport, and we are trying our best to find any news or any information of the special visitor, charter flights, foreign VIP leaders coming in, and that's why we go to the airport much more often than all the regular passengers.
And we all have our source channels. Like there are in our community, there are people actually working in the airport, working for some airline. They have access to the first-hand news of some VIP coming, and they are like to share the information with us. I think that's about definitely above the average among the world's other airports. About the future, well, as we know, Sydney is now building a new airport. It's called the Western Sydney Airport, if I'm correct. So I don't know the fate of this airport, and I don't know what the sporting environments will be in that new airport. But I do hope like they can have some like viewing decks like Tokyo Haneda Airport. They have the viewing deck built just above the terminals, and well, wait and see.
We'd like to invite more people to know about it. In 100 years of Sydney Airport, time changed many things. But we believe that in many period of time, the passion of aviation will be there.